Guys, Jason here again. Today we're doing something different. We're doing flashlights, and I decided that I would be a good idea to share with you guys some of the flashlights that are out there now. The technology is just racing away with the LEDs and rechargeable batteries and whatnot, and trying to cram as much into the smallest package as possible. So this is kind of where I've gone with what I've got and what I like and highly recommend. So first off, a couple of years ago I got two of these guys. These are the Brightmedic brand. They call it the mini Bonfire. It has spits out 200 lumens. It's $11 on Amazon. It has just basically one main feature, and that's this field of view zoom thing. So when it's on, simple press button on the back there that's recessed, so it can stand up on its back end just as much as it can the face of it. Has a nice little pocket clip there. But so it's just a simple on off. The 200 lumens is what you get. But when it's on, it has this zoom feature that changes the wideness of the light there. So wide and then more pinpointed, wide, pinpointed, and you can adjust it to anywhere in between there. So that's kind of the one nice feature, simple feature, but it's just 200 lumens right there on and off. The cool thing about it for me, what the main ticket was and why I got two of these suckers almost 2 years ago, was the fact that it only takes a single AA battery. AA battery. I thought that was really sweet, because in a world where you kind of getting tired of changing out batteries in your electronics over and over again, being a whole lot better than these guys, which claim to be anywhere from 75 to about 100 lumens. Similar design, just a press button, no zooming or anything, but these common cheap ones have this little plastic housing where you got 3 AAAs all crammed into there. And it's just like 3 AAAs for a single flashlight is a pain in the butt, if you gotta deal with that. So that's kind of like, I wanted to get away from that. I wanted a better quality, much more durable light, and it only takes a single AA. All these flashlights have the high anodized aluminum housings, so they're all drop resistant up to about 1.5 meters to 2 meters. So that's cool. This guy is O-ring sealed, but it didn't say anywhere in its specifications as far as whether or not it was submersible and exactly how waterproof he is. But I tell you right now from experience, he sat in the rain out on a table in the rain for a couple hours, worked and being used in the rain, no problem getting wet like that. I've never submersed it other than maybe getting dropped in mud or in a small puddle for a couple minutes, and then I pick it up. So again, it's fully functioning. It works just fine. When I dropped it on the edge of a brick in the yard there, and put a little dent in there, but no big deal, obviously. So that's that guy, $11 on Amazon. There's another one called J5 Tactical V1 Pro is the model of it. That spits out an extra 100 lumens. It goes to 300. But it does have the high, low, and strobe modes on the on button, push button for it. That guy still goes off of a single AA battery. It has the whole easy zooming feature on it, and also impact resistant, and it's a little bit longer. This Brightmedic is 3.5 inches, where that J5 Tactical one is full 4 inches. So it's a little bigger, but it has a few more features, and it's brighter, still going off of a single AA battery. And that's kind of the big ticket deal with those guys, was the fact that it only takes the one AA battery and no plastic housing of having to cram a bunch of AAAs into it. So that was that guy. $11 on Amazon. It's like $13 for the J5 Tactical one. Take your pick. Both of them I highly recommend. As being great. 200 or 300 lumens is quite a bit of brightness in a small little package like that. But then, and I've been happy with those, but I kind of wanted something that was more EDC fitting for everyday carry. And so I was looking at a bunch of review videos that people had out there on what their EDC was, what they had on them every day in their pockets, carrying and walking around, going places, and also around the house. So I was like, I kept seeing more and more of these EDC videos. People had some kind of a little flashlight, and I was like, I should probably get in on that. It's kind of nice to have a little flashlight at work to look in a box without having to open up the box to see what's in there, so I don't have to retape stuff. It kind of makes it a little nicer, a little quicker. Sometimes finding something on a bottom shelf and reaching back for it, being able to see what's there is nice. Looking in your glove box at night where the regular overhead light in the car doesn't get to. It's kind of nice to have a little flashlight to be able to find things in there in your center console or in your glove box, or in the trunk, what have you. So it's nice to have a little flashlight around all the time. And with the technology these days, this guy is what I ended up going with after looking at probably at least a dozen different flashlights and watching a bunch of videos of what people were carrying and what they recommended. And so I went with this guy. This is the ThorFire PF03 model pen flashlight. So he's really sweet because he also, again, runs off of just a single battery, and it's a AAA. For the size of it, it's a AAA inside there. And I really like that feature that it only takes one individual battery, and it's $12 on Amazon for this guy, so definitely very budget friendly. Its maximum output is 110 lumens, so that's pretty bright. It has the memory function, so it remembers. It does have 3 modes. The first mode is just a whopping 1 lumen worth of light, so you almost, unless it's dark, you don't really know that it's on when it's on in that setting, in that mode. But 1 lumen, I could see that being very useful in tactical situations, emergency situations, or just like if you're in the car, on the plane, on the train, and you got somebody next to you sleeping, you're in close quarters or whatever. And you don't want to wake them up by having a bright old light on next to them, and you just need to look at something real quick. You can turn it on and it be on that single lumen, and it's just enough to look at something real quick and then turn it off. So to get to all the different settings, rather than pressing it fully all the way down on the back there, you just press it a little bit and it'll cycle through the different modes, and it's just 3. So you have your 1 lumen first, then you have 25 lumens, which is pretty bright, and then your whopping 110. So 110 lumens off of a single AAA battery in this tiny little package with a clip. In the box it does come with some extra O-rings for waterproof sealing. It is waterproofed out to IPX8, which is 2 meters submerging. So you can, leave it in the water for up to 2 meters depth, and it'll function in the water as well as once you take it out. Again, 2 extra O-rings, has the little clip, and the cool thing about the clip is you can, you pop it off, and you can reverse it around like so. And then I wouldn't do it on the bill of the cap because that's awfully thick and it's not all that heavy duty of a clip. It's not meant to be, but you could put it in the corner like that and put your hat on. This might irritate your your noggin after a little while. But you know, for quick uses, for a hands-free, you know, headlight use, that's pretty cool that you could do that. You know, I thought about that and I was like, hey, that would work. You could do that. So and again, that clip stays on there pretty good. It takes a good bit of effort to get that off, so no worries about losing the clip. And the retention is pretty good, as being a nice little pocket flashlight. So the ThorFire PF03. Alright, then you know, after having the Brightmatic 200 lumens and having some other lantern style lights that I have for camping and stuff, being a little bit brighter, but I don't have and have yet to have anything more that spat out more than about 500 lumens. And I was like, you know, I'd really love to have something that's just insanely bright, because the technology is there. They're not, you know, they're not all that terribly expensive, and I just wanted in on that. So again, after looking at least a dozen different flashlights and doing a whole bunch of research, and being a bit on a budget, I narrowed myself down to this guy right here. This is the Atactical A1S light. He spits out a whole 1,150 maximum lumens, which is anything over 800 is just insanely bright in my book. So it's, again, the anodized aluminum body casing, 1.5 meter impact resistant. This guy's waterproof to IPX7, which is 1 meter of depth submersion. So in supposedly 1 meter's worth of water, it'll work underwater and then continue to work out of water. One neat feature about it that I kind of discovered, because it wasn't written anywhere, but just in taking it apart and playing with it and looking at it, the center body of the tube of the flashlight unscrews from both ends. So I guess without having to mess with the clip, you could reverse it and then kind of do the same thing with your hat. And because this is a more robust clip, heavier duty clip, you could go straight onto the bill with it and use it as a headlamp, as a headlight. So that's kind of a cool feature about it, that it does that. It comes with 2 extra O-rings in the box, so you have extra O-rings. Before I put it all together, let's talk about the battery. Again, this flashlight takes only 1 battery inside of it, and it uses one of these guys. This is a USB rechargeable with the micro USB, plugs in to the side right there. It has charging indicator lights on the very end of the battery. It's red right now, showing that it's charging. Once it's fully charged, it'll go to green, which actually, if I left it on here, wouldn't be too much longer, because the battery pretty much is fully charged. So it's 3400 mAh, which is equivalent to 3.6 volts right there. Yeah, 3.6 volts or 3400 mAh. USB rechargeable. The type of battery is 18650. It's a lithium ion battery. So, and he just drops in there like so, and screw him on. I thought it was really great that he just plugs into one of those micro USB plugs to recharge the battery. There is a brand called Olight. They have their batons flashlights that are very, very similar to this guy. They're a whole lot more expensive. This guy was only $30 on Amazon, and one of the Olights that's almost identical in features and brightness and size and everything, it was like $60 or $70 on Amazon to get the light and the battery and the charger. But instead of using one of these micro USBs like what you use for your Android phones and tons of other electronic devices, the Olight flashlight has a charging cord that has a magnetic base that then the bottom of the flashlight sits on top of to recharge, and it's magnetic, so it holds it on there nice and steady and sturdy. But then it charges the battery inside of it through that magnetic base that it connects to and sits on top of. And that's really cool. That's great if that's you want that flashlight to be have that home base and always be with that one cord at your house, whichever room you choose to put it in. But if you want something that you're going to take places with you, if the flashlight's going to go places, travel with you and stuff, having to worry about making sure that I don't forget that charging cord with that base at home accidentally, or leave it in a hotel room, or leave it in a campsite, or whatever, just wherever that I'm traveling with the flashlight with me. That's one more thing I have to worry about, making sure I don't leave behind or forget or lose. Or if it gets broken, then what do you gotta do? You gotta buy the whole new set, or can you buy just the recharging corded base? Or I didn't want to deal with all that. I thought that this was really sweet that the battery comes out and you plug it in to one of these cords and that's it. And so I've got dozens of these rechargeable cords, and they're everywhere, the house, the car, whatever, and they're real cheap and easy to replace too. I don't have to contact the company of the flashlight to get a replacement, because they're a dime a dozen everywhere. So that was kind of the positive feature of this one. It has the simple on and off switch on the back. It's also memory setting, and to change the modes, it has a secondary button right here on the side here that you push, and that cycles through all the different brightness modes. So the first is 24 lumens, then it goes to 140, and then it goes to 460, and then finally your 1150 lumens. And then if you press it again, hold down as you press, it goes to strobe, which is really sweet. Press it to go back to the 110, or the 1150, and then if I hit it, go through it again, it'll go to SOS, signaling mode, which is pretty sweet as well. It's memory capable, so the last mode that I had it on, when I turn it on, that's the mode that it will come on with. So if I have it set, let's set it to strobe, and I turn it off, right, and it's sitting next to my bed, and on my nightstand I have an intruder come, I can grab this and turn it on to the brightest setting, and it's just one click to get it to strobe. So it'll blind them, it'll hit them first with the brightness, and then you confuse the heck out of them with the strobe. Believe me, when this is shining right at your face, that sucks. That's miserable. That amount of brightness is awful. When you're moving around in the dark and somebody just shines that right at your face. Over 1,000 lumens is just incredibly bright, and it is temporarily blinding. So don't play around too much with that on yourself or anybody else, because that's not cool. But I love this guy, and the fact that it's the USB rechargeable battery. I got this in the cool white. They do have a neutral white option, which gives a little bit more of a yellowish, tint to the light. So there is that option as well. Another really cool feature, because these lithium ion batteries, they typically, at least my experience with my cordless drills that run with that battery, they're they give you full power to the device all the way into the end, all the way until the battery's out and kaputs. But when it's out and kaputs, that's it. And like the device just suddenly stops. So that's kind of cool in the fact that you do get full power use all the way to the end of the battery's life. But then you got to recharge it, and they typically charge pretty quick, being lithium batteries. But sometimes it kind of ends up being a downside that there's no warning, there's no heads up that, hey, your battery's about to die. It just quits, and you're like, oh, SOL. But so what this flashlight does, the feature that it has to prevent you from running into that trouble, is it gives you a little warning blink. It blinks twice when the battery's real low. So probably below 10, 20, 15% maybe battery life left in it, it'll do that blinking. I haven't tested that out. Do make sure, because the way these lithium-ion batteries work, when you get it and you pull it out of the box, as much as you want to just, you know, plug and play and get going with it, resist your excitement for that, and take the battery and charge it up all the way 100% completely. That really helps with the battery's life cycle and its charging abilities, so that when you do recharge it, it really recharges to its full, you know, capabilities, maxes out to its full capacity. So make sure you do that. Don't get too excited and just charge it for 5-10 minutes just so that you can throw the battery in there and see how bright it is and play with it. Let the battery sit on the charger till it's completely 100% fully charged. That helps out the battery so much with these lithium-ion batteries. So all of these guys are fantastic. I love them a lot. I've had these two newer ones for about a month now, and couldn't be happier with the purchase. $30 for this guy. Let me go ahead and give you the weights on them. So the Atactical comes in at 4.7 ounces, so under 5 ounces. That's pretty, with the battery in it, that's pretty darn light. The little ThorFire PF03 comes in at just over an ounce, 1.19, so 1.2 ounces with the battery in it, and that's the lithium Energizer lithium battery inside of there. The Brightmedic guy comes in at 2.7, again with the Energizer lithium battery in it. So 2.7 for the Brightmedic. So these flashlights, you know, as high-tech as they are with the all their features, being that lightweight and this small a package, that is super sweet. Could not be happier about the technology that's being brought into these flashlights, and having the lithium ions and being able to do rechargeable batteries. And I could put rechargeable AAAs and AA's. They're not all that expensive or hard to get these days. So that's great that you can have rechargeable batteries and have them be lithium ions and not the other rechargeable batteries that don't work quite as well or quite so long. There's been no trouble with these flashlights with the rechargeables holding. This guy with the rechargeable, it holds its charge for a really long time. I read a lot of reviews and read a lot of comments about that, and everybody said it does extremely well with that. So that was not so much of a worry for me in purchasing that guy either. So I hope that, and again, $30 for the big guy here, $12 for the little guy, and $11 for the Brightmedic. That's hard to beat. Those are some really great prices. Gives you all those neat features in them, and best bang for your buck overall. I just thought that these were excellent flashlights. Great contenders with all the bigger name brands, the more popular ones that everybody's spending a whole lot more money on. So hope this helps. Hope this gave you a good idea. You can throw out some of the lesser known brands that still do an extremely good job in the way they build their flashlights. They don't seem to skimp out on quality or in quality in their materials and how well they put it together. And again, these guys came with extra O-ring seals for these two guys, which is pretty sweet. Really nice. It came with the charging cord for the big guy as well, and nicely packaged. So yeah, definitely worth a look. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry it was so long, but wanted to spit out all that information to you. I have links in the comments for all these flashlights on Amazon. Please subscribe, hit like, throw me some comments if you've got these and, want to reflect on it because you've had them longer than I've had. Just, give me some feedback. Thanks.